I think that we can all agree on the fact that online trade and shopping offers us a lot of advantages. We can buy cheaply, comfortably at home, but it does expose us to risks and vulnerabilities, and all of that has been picked up in this report, such as dark patterns, price manipulation, subscriptions that we can't cancel, and also undermining the vulnerabilities of young people online. We know that our young people are more and more exposed to unfair competition practices, as well as designs that manipulate the way in which they take their decisions. And we think that platforms need to develop more instruments to protect people's private lives, their privacy, and to ensure that content is age appropriate. But you do point out in the report that platforms such as TikTok have been facing formal proceedings from the Commission this year, which nevertheless have not mitigated the risks associated with their designs. So my first question would be, what are the proposals from the Commission's side to equip us with better regulations and stricter controls when it comes to stepping up protection against damaging content for young people? And what are the verification tools that we would deem to be sufficient in that case? Secondly, I also want to talk about addictive designs, as you mentioned. The report throws up some concerns, significant concerns actually, about the dangerous practices undertaken by platforms such as infinite scrolling and loot boxes in video games, which exploit the vulnerabilities of young people and adults alike. So my second question, what are the specific regulations that the Commission is contemplating to combat those addictive design patterns? Will those apply to video games alone, or could you apply those to social platforms, social media too? And then, as regards influencers and the marketing that you commented on, this is a very widespread phenomenon. Now, your report says that it has gone up by more than 700% since 2016. That's a significant figure. So I wanted to ask what the Commission's suggestions would be to establish much stricter rules about the dissemination of information by, the sharing of information by influencers, as well as foreseeing some potential sanctions to protect online consumers. Thank you very much.
Protection of minors is really a very, very important point for us. And in our exercise now on preparing for the next step and really our evaluation of the different problems, indeed will pay really particular attention to what and how vulnerabilities concerning the minors are being used. And therefore, we will indeed come with specific recommendations, but it's too early to say now, but it's really one big focus of our work for the future. It will not be limited to the video games, as we want to be larger. If we want to have a proper assessment, I mean, we will go really at all the phenomenon in itself, and then evaluate if it's and how it's specifically damageable for the minors. On influencers, indeed, the role, and you quoted the percentage, is really high. We also see now there are some countries, for example, France, who came up with their own legislation on influencers. And again, here, the question is, are we going to leave the different member states come up with specific legislation on, for example, influencers, or should we take it at the level of the EU, because we know that it is an EU problem? And really, that's something we're going to discuss and study, and I would be very happy to have your input on this.